It's not looking good.
It's not looking good at all. That's a white peace offer from Ireland as well coming in. Serbia has indeed, that white peace has been accepted and they've gone. Or did they actually, were they forced to go up Nietzsche? I know Nietzsche is a subject, sorry. Love to see Nietzsche, of course, in any PDX. Any PDX.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best colours on the map.
Of course, of course. What happens now? What's the play? I mean, Prussia, basically, they take a moment, right? They assess the situation, and then they apportion forces, right? It has to be conversations going on right now saying Milan, go against Switzerland.
I can tell you, even on the server, for basically the entire duration of this war, both teams have been in two huge diplomacy channels.
Yeah.
All coordinating with each other.
We're being offered some input from the story of Hanover. I would love to hear the story of Hanover. Let's get the Hanoverians in here if we could. And now we are officially over 10 million casualties for the Prussian side. Only 9 million total casualties for the Swiss side right now. But I mean, they had more men to lose. And looking at the absolute numbers now, a few people have pieced out. It's not looking good. There is about a 500,000, maybe, there's a 700,000 shortfall now, approaching a 50% loss for the Swiss, now outnumbered 2-3. 2-3 outnumbered, but they're still going in aggressively, led by the Swiss. The Swiss are fighting in Posen. Good Lord. They get everywhere.
If you want it doing right, do it yourself.
Absolutely. It seems that way. The Russians obviously pouring in, but they haven't got their men in position.
They're going to intercept the Prussians. Yeah. They're going to intercept the reinforcements of the Russians.
Oh, no, the Swiss are going to get driven back. But the reinforcements are not fighting with a terrain penalty. No terrain penalty on either one, actually. No general for the Russians. Oh, and the reinforcements got crushed. And then the other reinforcements got immediately retreated out of there. Oh, my God. It is.
This is a series of decisive victories now for the Prussians.
The Prussians it's crushing it. They're crushing it. That's almost a morale-breaking loss right there. That's the moment where the Russians start to go, we begin to see that we can't do this. Hanover, get him in there. Let's have a chat to Hanover. My Lord. Hello, Hanover.
Greetings from Hanover.
How goes it, Hanover?
Well, I would say it. Of course, it could have gone better, but we had a rough start. But we are confident in that we shall be victorious in this great war.
It's certainly beginning to look that way. You now have approximately a 45% numbers advantage over your enemy. But what do you want to see on the world stage as a result of the now looking quite probable victory in this war?
We would like to see foremost the recognition for the greater Northern Alliance as the righteous ones, of course, and that's pretty much our goal for now. We have very strong ties with our close allies in foremost the Netherlands and Prussia, and also with Norway, of course, which we have been together for a very long time now, and we are very much rooting for each other. And as a bit of an underdog, being between a very powerful nation, so from the get-go, we have managed to stay relevant. And of course, now at the end with the pact of make Hanover fat, as I'm sure most of you have seen, it's very satisfying to also see the recognition from our close friends and allies.
Good. Well, it's always lovely to see the loyal allies sticking together, and we wish you all the very best for your imminent, it seems, Russian campaign.
Indeed, thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
So we see now this key battle over Wisna, and the Swiss doing what they can to turn the tide with their massive morale, but unfortunately at this point, Prussian numbers have become, it seems, almost insurmountable. Although they are struggling here, they did take a 2 terrain penalty, which entirely negates their slight general advantage.
You just feel now that they might have some victories, Russians now, but the trend now is looking like it's going to be clear.
I just got some very important news. Apparently, the Pope is back in. The Pope has said on the pull. Was that the way that round that worked?
Just Nepal?
Hang on, what's happened here?
You're viewing as Prussia.
Yes, the Nepalese Papal Imperialist War. Nepal declared war on the Pope. They couldn't allow that to stand. And Switzerland did in fact join on the Pope's side. And the pool is in Italy. Pope at this point has enough men to kick those guys out, but we'll see how that develops. They just don't want to be without a blue flame next to their name. Serbia, meanwhile, appears content to not be in this war. They've mothballed their forts.
Big Nitra now.
Look at that. They did win that one in the end. The Russians managed to hold Wisna with the -2 penalty, drive them back out, all the way back to Berlin. But they're coming back, and Hanover continues their slow sieges up here. Slow because they've only got 6,000 cannons and no siege pips, so one can only imagine why that's taking a little while. But there's everything still to play for. It's not over. It's not over until Switzerland is forced to surrender, and that's going to take a lot of doing. Switzerland hasn't lost, I think, a single fort in the whole war.
They've lost one up in their border with.
They have. You're right, just the one. And they've got mountains to fall back into down here. Let's take a brief tour of the world right now. We do see, that's where the Dutch are. The Dutch are crushing Ruthenia. Jeebus. That's going to, but the Ruthenians have made, it's, one thing happens and then it just turns. It turns and it turns. We've got Ruthenia crushing into Rosbritannia. We've got the Dutch crushing into Ruthenia. Wow. This is amazing. And then looking over further east, we've got more occupations from Rosbritannia, just seizing little bits here. Meanwhile, the Milanese, they're feeling strong here. They're feeling like they've got Serbia on the back foot, but do they? Serbia, they've come back from worse than this before, and they have a lot of manpower and professionalism to dig into. Brittany has left the war, so they have. Interesting. Brittany has left the war. I'm not sure why. They weren't under threat from anything. But they feel that their time has been done. And look, them leaving has exiled Jerusalem's men. Jerusalem has a long way to go to get those men back in the fight. Siege down by Jerusalem? No, Jerusalem was on Brittany's side. Milan's professionalism, very good question. Thank you, chat.
I think very much now, if I'm Prussia, I'm happy to maintain the relatively static lines in the east and just focus on getting Switzerland sieged because they're the war leader. They don't need to go charging into Russia.
Yeah, I think I agree. And that seems to be what they've done. I mean, they're mostly static over here, and they're allowing Milan to take the charge on just cruising in here. But,
yeah, there's some black-flagged Jerusalem units down there.
Yeah, I was saying, I mean, Milan left the war, which black-flagged all of Jerusalem's men. So they've got a long way to go to get home. But look at it. They could just be given one of these provinces. You know, if someone flipped the occupation up here to Jerusalem. Wait, this might have been a galaxy brain play of the century. Brittany leaves the war, Blacks flags Jerusalem's men, then they flip one of these provinces to Jerusalem's control, and suddenly Jerusalem's troops are on the relevant front. That seems like that might actually be the play. Let's see, where are Jerusalem's men going? They're going just into Milan right now. We'll see if that's what ends up happening. Wow, look at that. The Swiss just melting the Milanese troops.
They have such a good quality of the troops, the Swiss. They've been able to fight loads of battles against much more numerous opponents for this whole war.
Yeah.
Just been able to hold their own.
And look at this, the Swiss being sent packing by the Deccan. No Dutch trading company for them today. This war has cost the Dutch 50,000 ducats so far, but we still stand strong in funding all those who call themselves friends of international peace and prosperity. The Dutch have indeed gone down substantially, but now back in the black and back up to 900 trade income, still hundreds and hundreds short of where they were. And their diplomatic expenses, they say they're still standing strong funding. They do appear to be funding about 300 ducats less than previously. So we'll see how long that continues. The Swiss, deep in what isn't technically enemy lines, of course, but really up there at the fore, taking the fight to the Milanese. And look at that, retreating into an attack that's going to stack wipe. These Swiss are pulling out all the stops. Hello, Benjamin.
Hello, fellow co-hosts.
Hello.
So I see that the war to end all wars is still raging, and it's beautiful. It is a beautiful. Oh god, I don't even have words. I've got a big ass smile on my face just because this is what I've been wanting. I spent hours and hours and hours commentating on phony wars and AI wars, and now we're finally having something amazing to watch.
It's glorious. It's glorious. And the Prussians and Russians, this front has gone back and forth and back and forth so many times. We've seen the Swiss pull out some amazing plays, really amazing plays. And there we go. They did switch that to Jerusalem, as I expected, to get those troops in on the relevant front. It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Last time I looked, the casualties were about 21 million total, and it's even higher than that because that's not counting Nepal or the Pope or anybody or Serbia. So it's
of course, Nepal and the Pope are back in their own little war now.
I did see that. Yes, I've been watching.
they've been driven out.
Subsidiary war there.
I really think the Pope should be stabbed. Truce breaking at this point and taking the fight back to Milan. But
yeah, we've only got 29-ish minutes of playtime left, so they got to kill as many people as possible in that amount of time.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, and as you can see, it really looks like the Russians are going to win once again some key battles over here, and then the cycle begins again. We're going back to Berlin, boys. I mean, every time.
We've had, I think, 5 battles in Berlin now. I've been trying to keep track of them on the social media accounts, but frankly, I lost count. It's 4 or 5, and we're just counting on from there.
Serbia apparently has a solution, a movement towards a conclusion for the world. So we'd love to have them on stream with us if we could. But look at that. The joint Swiss-Russian Deccan forces have driven them back. Deccan, of course, also involved in a rearguard action, attempting to keep the Dutch out of Ruthenia. Ruthenia simultaneously pushing relatively unopposed right now. It's interesting they're going to fight them in the hills rather than the mountains. I'm not sure about the wisdom of that, but so many fronts in this war, and a truly even global war that's just so uncommon. It's fantastic.
That's what's great about it, is that you just can't tell who's going to win right now because it just keeps going back and forth, and the casualties have been mirroring each other almost perfectly this whole time too.
I know it's been amazing to behold. We were talking earlier. Josh was giving his input on what he thought the best play was, what he would be doing as the Prussians, as the war leader right now. How about you, Ben? Where would you be directing your allies? What's the way to bring this to a conclusion? Because obviously they've got 30 minutes. So how are they doing?
I don't think there is a way to reach a satisfactory conclusion in 30 minutes. Honestly, whenever I'm in a war, I always try to knock out the weakest allies first. No. So that is my goal. But that would mean waging a truly multi-front world war to try to get all of the smaller, weaker allies out and then just whittling it down. But that'd be hours more of gameplay at least.
It would. I feel the only path to victory, certainly swift victory for the Prussians right now, is to take out, Switzerland, obviously, the war leader. They're the ones that can win it. So you have to just charge in. As the Prussians, you've got to take Switzerland. And what that means is you've got to perhaps accept that Berlin falls. It's the only option is the Pyrrhic victory.
I feel like right now the brass ring is Berlin. Whoever holds Berlin at the end wins.
It's certainly beginning to feel that way. It certainly is. And we can see here another Prussian crushing in here. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be enough to take the fight here. There are loads of these. I love seeing these cutting in behind the lines, cutting off the reinforcements, multiple sub-fights breaking out.
2-3 major battles fighting all in adjacent provinces. Yeah,
it's crazy. Serbia has something they'd love to say, so let's have them hop in here with us. Yeah. And we'll see what that's about. I think this one I'm going to call for the Prussians, though. They seem to be bringing in more men. As the Ruthenians and the Decans have had to divert attention east, it really feels like the Russians are going to be able to not quite be able to bring the troops they need and the morale, honestly, they need to bear right here. Looks like the Prussians are going for a flanking maneuver now, going to be coming in from above. Hello, Serbia.
Hello, stream. We as Serbia have analyzed the last 250 years, and we realized there was a moment in history when the fighting and the backstabbing and everything started, and we have found a solution to this. And when you scroll a little bit away from the fights and scroll onto our glorious land, we can show you right now the solution. So
No!
this is one part, and this is the other part.
The Phoenix rises!
So our solution to the world is that all bow to the real empire to find peace. So I see a lot of Abyss in the stream, and yeah, strong Byzantium is going strong here.
And it seems to work well diplomatically. I see an alliance offer from Nepal.
Yeah.
I suspect they might want you to fight the pretender in Rome.
Yeah, probably they want us, but I don't think we are in any position to do this right now.
Well, I love to see it. The Phoenix rises always all round.
Yeah.
Is that the third time Byzantium has reappeared in this game now?
I mean, there was some...
No, they got completely wiped out before and brought back in a war, and then wiped out again and brought back this time.
The Phoenix has risen, and this time they will stay risen. I think that's that's the key.
That's
Glorious.
That's the key. So it was a blast. Have fun watching the casualties in the billions right now.
Grugi says disgusting.
Thank you very much, Serbia. I love that additional flair as we go in. Have a good rest of the game.
Thank you.
All right. I mean, you've got to see that the Phoenix rising at the end is the perfect way to begin to move us towards the end, of course.
Looks like the combat has moved away from East Prussia now.
I mean, it seems like it's exactly what I was saying. The Prussians want to be able to bring the war to a conclusion.
I stepped away then for 2 minutes. I come back.
And Byzantium came back
Byzantium
again.
Yeah, it's Serbia has gone through an identity crisis.
Serbian Byzantium.
Serbian Byzantium. Absolutely. Okay. I mean, it's not the first Serbian empire that has claimed this title, but we'll see. And it looks to me like a joint Milanese-Prussian expedition has decided that the incredible plays that Switzerland have been pulling out have gone on too long, and it's time for a joint military expedition to put them in their place. It looks like Russia is not even willing to push in unopposed right now into Eastern Prussia, which means that a serious crush in here is going to...
Prussia's leaving one army and maybe some lightly reinforcements behind there. Maybe some Norwegians to help out.
I mean, it's a very, very multinational effort that's coming in here. We also have
the Norwegians fight.
Some results for the nation that our alliance shall rule the world. And Ben, why don't you would like to share with the stream? While you're doing that, we've got yet another fight as the Swiss bravely attempt to defend their heartland using that river crossing their advantage.
It's split. I mean, the votes are split all over the place, but the viewers have voted that Milan should be the rulers of the world with 21.2% of the vote.
You know that has to feel good, having been backstabbed, as the vote chat officially voted. It was a backstab by Switzerland and the Papal States. They didn't get their brother's war. Milan takes the victory. Others very high up there. I think I see Georgia with a lot of votes. Georgia, of course, the favorite of our hearts. Prussia also really pulled the leg out. Switzerland doing extremely well. Georgia, I mean, there was many nations that fought extremely hard for that title. And of course, Milan is the winner, and we can only crown one winner for that. But
Georgia was tied for third.
Tied for third, very close. Very close. Ireland, of course, with their amazing sacrificial lamb play at the end there. It was
Ireland falling on the sword was pretty fun to watch.
It was amazing. Dutch naval invasions have landed, I am told. Let's take a look here.
Ooh, would you look
naval
at that?
Invasion into Deccan. Naval invasion landing into Kilwa, I think. Let me look at Dutch perspective. Pretty sizable naval invasion going after.
Yes, Madagascar.
Madagascar, nice.
One landing is over here. Is there a force in here? Not that I can see.
I thought I saw one earlier. It might just be.
Maybe going to get some of their men from the Near East, but we'll see. It's not the Near East, so. Meanwhile, the real fighting is right here in Switzerland. Is Switzerland going to be able to hold off long enough to not be forced? There is only 20 minutes remaining in the stream.
It's just about survival now. Can they get to the end of the stream and still be alive?
There's a lot of sieges that are about to tick over right now.
Yeah.
Got Prussia up on the Baltic coastline, Russia's in East Prussia, and then a whole bunch in Switzerland at the moment.
One thing to remember, this war has been raging for a devastating 15 years, and Switzerland is the war leader.
15 years.
Unlike many other places, doesn't have a global empire. They don't have colonies. They don't have any, far-flung lands. If Switzerland gets 100% occupied, that's it. That's 100% war score. The war's gone on long enough. They're the war leader. That's all it takes. They don't have to knock out Russia. They don't have to go global. They don't have to invade India. If they can get 100% by getting Switzerland, that's it. That's it. It's done. And it makes me wonder, where the heck are the Dutch? Why are they invading Madagascar? Oh my God. Oh no, Switzerland is 2 months away from bankruptcy.
Oh no.
Everyone is yelling at Russia right now. For God's sake, Russia, you got 20,000 nuggets. I got 700. I need the money.
I just saw someone ask for another dog cam. I don't know where my dog's probably in the living room with my wife, but I do have my cat right here, so you could have him if you want.
I'm also being told that Nepal won against the Pope. How on earth did that work? They didn't take Rome though, so I'm not sure. It's 300 ducats. Oh no, it's so close. I think there we go.
Oh,
there we go.
You've bought them a little bit of time.
Bought them a tiny bit of time. The Pope has conceded defeat at the hands of the great Roman Empire of Nepal.
Roman Empire of Nepal.
Yes, not sure about that one, but and look at this, Russia not prepared to commit beyond not willing to commit beyond the Vistula right now, leaving Switzerland in the lurch. I mean, this is Russia's moment. They've got to pounce.
Yeah, I mean, the Prussian troops are occupied elsewhere. Got to do what you can for your allies.
Wow. The Swiss were 1 month away from bankruptcy at one point there, and they're only less than a year away right now. I mean, significantly less than a year.
Just out of curiosity, I'd like to see the devastation map mode for Europe.
Oh
right
my
now.
God, good point. Look at this. What? Hanover and
East Prussia.
Milan managing to maintain it. And look at that. That's why you flip Golden Eagle. Byzantium has kept their devastation. Look at that. Georgia, they've had enough of being sieged. Deccan's doing pretty well.
I'm so happy with Georgia after so long of being trashed.
But look at the Netherlands and East Prussia. And what about the Bavaria region?
Look at this. We're at 50%. Oh my goodness. It's becoming... And I mean, look at the Netherlands. Yeah, there's been so much with the Swiss going back and forth in there. It's been absurd. Absolutely absurd.
That's nice. Oh.
Did the Swiss incredible plus?
Did the Swiss got a little bit of extra money? I wonder if someone sent them some.
It must have been, right? Must have been.
The money they could possibly ever want at this point. Otherwise, they'll be bankrupt.
We got another battle forming. Oh, but it's not looking good unless they get a lot of reinforcements in there.
Dear.
Oh, I don't think there's enough. I don't know if there's enough time. Oh, nope. That's
they got it. They saved the mountain fort, which means now they're going to have to begin that siege all over again.
Team 9, no! That's perfect. There go a bunch more.
Man has a lot of troops they could be getting up in here. And another sent packing. Now is the chance. Russia, begin the offensive to Berlin.
Come on, Russia. Hundreds of thousands of troops just standing there. Come on.
Go for it.
They've crossed the Vistula.
Only one river stands between them and Berlin.
Oh, sorry. Could someone take control from me for a moment? Oh, Prussia has just said the Swiss tried to surrender. The cowards shaking their boots. That is an wow.
I definitely think we're going to be ending this stream with this war still raging. I think if we had all the time in the world, this would rage for hours.
Yeah,
yet.
We could probably go for hours more.
I'm not convinced. I'm going to be the voice of dissent. I think the joint Prussian-Milanese offensive, and look, Milan is militarizing hard right now. It's going to bring an end to the Swiss. The Swiss are going to be forced to surrender.
Especially with their economy. So, they just got another 10,000 from somewhere.
Oh, let's go Russia.
Prussia?
No, Russia. Let's see
Russia.
From Russia.
Probably. They're about 10,000 down.
16,000 down, yeah. So you'd think, they're still losing 120 a month.
by the way, it's the reason it's a. Wait, they just spent all that money already?
They repay loans so that they.
What?
I think they repaid some
They just
loans.
took a whole bunch of loans.
Did they? They didn't go bankrupt, did they? No,
Did
they
they
did.
hire a bunch of mercs? Oh yeah,
Yep, there they are. Look at that.
they hired a few 100,000 mercs.
Early. Let's look at this from the Prussian perspective. Right now, the Prussians are thinking, yeah, we got this. Nope, never mind. The Hanoverians being driven back. Just Hanoverians don't quite have the army quality to stand up in these series.
I'm really surprised that the Russians have now turned up again in the middle of Prussia. I thought once they lost that battle the first time, that was it. They weren't going to be able to make any headway. But now they come back again.
Swiss are forced marching to the next fort.
Oh my god, that's a good point that chat has just pointed out. Look at the Swiss manpower. It's 1.6 million.
Have they
slacking a bunch?
Must have been slackening.
Yeah.
All of it gone.
And now, I mean, in Prussia, similar story. We got 17% in Prussia and 2% in Russia. But look at this. Once again, we find ourselves on the borders of Berlin as the Russian march, the juggernaut from the east.
To borrow some hoi parlance, both sides are scraping the barrel here on their manpower now. They've slackened standards to a huge extent.
The thing is now, I mean, look at this. The Swiss army is truly formidable. We've got 500,000 men under arms for a really small nation. I mean, it's well developed, but it's not that big. The Prussian may try to slander us, but we will never surrender to such evil. And honestly,
also, it's not even 1700 yet.
I know. I mean, what we're seeing from the Swiss, they don't look like they want to surrender. They're fighting on two fronts. Oh my god!
We just absolutely refuse to know when they're beaten.
I mean, the Russians, the repeated commitments of the Russians in here are truly impressive.
Getting the Pope back in?
Pope Milanese nationalist war against the Pope.
The Pope is now in.
The Pope has declared a nationalist war against Milan.
The Pope is going to make it so the war can't end. The Pope is going to be the difference maker. They're going to hold down the Milanese troops. The Milanese can't move against the Swiss. The Swiss don't fall. The war doesn't end. The Pope is going to be the one that decides how the campaign ends.
Realizing the nation state of the Pope.
Oh my lord. One thing to point out, the reason why it's the Roman Empire under Paul is because, of course, they were the Byzantine players that have ended up over
of course.
and they tell us that they are very happy to see that the Phoenix has risen again. Here we are, the Pope fighting Milan. I have to say, I don't necessarily like the Pope's odds.
No,
they
it doesn't
appear
look
to be
good
being
for
crushed back there, but they are certainly going to mean that the Swiss have far more of a free hand to move in their own territory, to retake land, and to prevent these offensives. The invasion of Berlin is beginning, and they're looking like they might get it this time. I know I've said this before, but
there's a lot of reinforcements still, but Berlin once again is under siege, this time by the Indians.
This time by...
Yes!
Deccan
Siege of Berlin! 27,000!
This time with a 4 siege leader. The Eastern Roman Empire is...
There's still a 250,000 Russians unengaged waiting to get into that.
You know, it's insane. The Berlin siege has been abandoned. They're going to come over here and commit more heavily to this one, it looks like, for now. We will see. I think chat, we need a poll in chat. We've had the poll about who's going to win. It went 80% in favor of Prussia. I would like now the poll, please, saying, will the war end? We've got 9 minutes on the clock. It's looking very unlikely, but I mean, it could with a strong enough Milanese push in here, but we will see. I don't know.
I still say whoever holds Berlin is the winner in my heart, at least.
I mean, the winner of the Eastern Front, yeah, even if they don't hold Berlin, look at this. They've pushed more than 2/3 of the way.
Yeah, you have to give credit to the Russian. The Russian players, I think, deserve an awful lot of credit in this war because they have to juggle a ridiculously large army and being the economic superpower that's bankrolling their entire alliance at the same time, and they've managed to do a really good job.
And look at this: in 9 months, Kiev is going to declare independence.
That is an absolutely massive battle. No reinforcements left to pull in on either side.
The Prussians lost that battle.
It ended. It
sorry.
The
ended.
Prussians lost.
Prussians lost. Yeah.
The huge battle they just lost.
The Pope would like to say a few words, and we'd love to let them, if the stream team could sort that. Look at this. They're going. Look at them. They're force marching. They can't wait to be in Berlin.
Blow those walls down.
Exactly. I was just about to say that.
Wall breach. Arrival. Wall breach. Come on. Where's the wall breach?
Breach the walls.
Look at this, the Prussian
There it is.
lines.
Bam. Are they assaulting? No.
They
They are assaulting.
They are.
Oh my god.
Do it. Come on.
Berlin may fall. It's gonna fall. It's 2 days. 2 days.
600 men left.
Woo! Berlin has fallen.
Calling it. Russia wins.
That is negative 51% war score for the Prussians now. They've taken Berlin. Like,
Oh my
it's a moral victory for the Russians.
It
if
is a
nothing
moral
else.
victory. Exactly.
They have
Hello,
to.
Papal States.
I wanted to end our story on a good note.
Uh-huh.
We finally have a true patriarch, one to work with, and we're glad to see Serbia rise
Excellent.
as the new Phoenix.
Of course.
They're not the first Rome, they're not the second Rome, they're not the third Rome, they're the third Constantinople, they're the third Byzantium.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank you, Pope. I love seeing that late entrance, throwing things into disarray moments before Berlin falls. The stab-hitting peace offers have begun. Prussia is being asked to concede defeat.
7 minutes left. Can we get enough? Can we get 5 or possibly 6 more
7
out?
I think. It would
Yeah,
have
I
to
will
be
leave
7.
you
They can
guys,
do-
as you will probably have to.
I'm sorry, Papal States. We love you, and it's an amazing
Yeah.
final entrance. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
And I love the alliance of East and West, mending the schism. Glorious days. Have a wonderful
Thank
final.
you. A last amen.
A last. So well. We've got stab hitting.
They are stab hitting them.
It's
This
beautiful.
this is like completely contrary to what I was expecting.
It's
I thought Russia was done. I thought that Prussia had this in hand and under control, and it's completely turned around again.
Million.
20.
26 million dead with the current war, not counting the several million for people who've pieced
Yes.
out and or joined back in.
It's absolute madness. Absolute madness. And Switzerland, once again, retaking their borders, almost looking like they're about to begin pushing into Prussia from the other side. This is truly the underdog.
Another
The
stab-hitting
Netherlands
peace
has
deal.
Such a power. Another stab-hitting piece of a good spot. And soon to see, I'm really looking forward to Kiev declaring independence. That's the absolute cherry on top. I mean, Prussia looked so dominant. They decided the outcome of almost every major war that we had so far. They decided that Georgia would survive. They decided that there would be at least concessions made before Jerusalem would fall. They've been the ones in the hot seat, but no longer.
I would like to point out that we are no longer at 50+%
It's true.
on the war score there. We're down to
Not a
46
stab-hitting peace
from,
offer.
yeah.
That's a good point. I had missed that. Thank you, chat, and thank you, Ben.
They even if they don't accept the conceded defeat, like, we can see who's won here. We can see who has won this war. We have 5 minutes left.
I mean, that's another poll, honestly, or
Well, I mean,
say it in chat. Who's won? Who do you feel like has won this war?
If there was no limit on time, then it's entirely possible that Prussia would be able to come back from this. But with the gameplay ending in 4 minutes,
it seems
Russia's and the Swiss have won here, haven't they?
Ireland has won. Who do you feel has won? The poll is now officially live. Oh, it's gone again. Hopefully we can get that back. But I mean, it looks like both sides are content to sit back.
We can assume that there's going to be one final battle of Berlin.
It certainly looks that way. And there is the independent Kiev, by the way.
Kiev, yes.
Kiev.
The Prince of Kiev.
Russia should call them in somehow. This is, I mean, they're not moving straight into Berlin. And what is this? This is an interesting defensive positioning. Obviously, they can move into into Berlin with the woods bonus, but with only 100 seconds of play left.
Yes.
I mean,
And don't worry, chat. We will show you how many people have died once that we pause.
For all the things around.
and I'm sure we can also share a save with you all so that you can you can dig into getting all the numbers you could possibly desire. And having a look at that timeline.
Absolutely.
The Swiss, wow. Look at that. But by popular vote, 71% believe the Swiss have won this conflict. That is a pretty decisive vote against the Great Northern Alliance, who mere moments earlier, it looked like they could end the war in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Now Switzerland has this massive war score advantage. They've liberated their eastern front. They've taken Berlin, or at least their glorious Russian allies have. But look, here is the Dutch. Late.
200,000 Dutchmen.
The Dutch arguably paying the price here for deciding that 120,000 men in Japan was a good use of their forces at the start of the conflict.
Persia has pieced out, and it is now Persia.
Oh, they did reform to Persia. I didn't notice that.
Oh,
right at the end.
Persia decided to back out, which leaves Ruthenia to destroy Rajputania, honestly. Oh, and they're back to Georgia.
Never mind. Just for a moment there. It made me happy to see Persia.
I was just about to say, how dare they form Persia? They told me they were staying as Georgia. They're true to their word. Not only
This
can
could
they
be
hold out
the
a
final
great
major battle.
There's some kind of...
Peace deals coming in left and right.
Look at this. Is that stab hitting?
It might be... Yes, it is.
It is. Okay, but I mean, there's no longer time. They critically lost, and
That's it.
There's the pause.
That's it.
That's
That's
the
it.
game.
The final battle rages on.
Unsettled.
It will rage on for eternity.
Some say they're still fighting to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. The final state of the world from the perspective of Prussia, the perspective of Switzerland. Look at Switzerland. Look at them. They are in what I would like to call a target-rich environment. And my lord, did they make the most of it. That is some incredible, incredible work from the Swiss-Russian alliance. The Southern and Eastern alliance, the Southern Eastern bloc. GG in the chat, please, to all of our wonderful players.
They've all played their part. This has been very, very good.
It's been an incredible weekend. It's been some just monumental conflicts. Let's take a look at the final casualties, as 50% war score exactly sits on here. We have got to look how this blows my mind. There's 600 casualties dividing each side of this war.
Or 60,000.
Rounded. I think you're right. 60,000. 60,000. Let's go with 60,000, which means that the difference in casualties between these two sides is a mere...
and Milan.
Milan.
It's 0.02% between the two of them. 0.02%.
Milan lost so many people they went into negative numbers.
Their little clicker for casualties broke.
I mean, that's incredible. Look, I mean, we've got 20 war exhaustion for Prussia, 20 war exhaustion for plenty of people on both sides. That's absolutely incredible. Let's take a look at some of the final positions of the fronts. We saw the Papal States get hammered in Andalusia. We saw the beautiful back and forth of Switzerland here with the obvious, the elegant, the well-timed, oh no, look, Gaeldam's independent after that breakout from Ireland. We saw the massive, obviously, the massive back and forth here with Norway, with Hanover, with Prussia, with some Dutch troops fighting just back and forth, brutal fighting on the Eastern Front here. We saw the Serbians and the Pope slowly beaten back and defeated eventually by Milan. We saw the Georgians and Rajputanians lose ultimately to Ruthenia. Ruthenia guarding the once thought to be soft underbelly of Russia. We saw the Jerusalem troops obviously backing the Andalusians. Same map color. You got to team up on the guy with the other map color, right? Backing up in Andalusia. In the east, we saw Nepal knocked out by a powerful Deccan offensive before Deccan then headed over to the Eastern Front. I think that pretty much wraps it up. In the Americas, we saw the Irish and Kilwan colonies get trounced by the Norwegian and Breton and Kilwa did pretty well. Managed to get Congo independent from the Dutch. That's no mean feat. Pretty impressive.
Rwanda exists in the middle of Kilwa for some reason.
I'm not sure why.
Sadly, no Kuba Luba. So
sadly, no Kuba Luba.
Big sad there.
And Nietzsche, of course, the Phoenix rose, the popes healed the schism. It's truly a glorious day. It's a glorious day.
It is. Why don't we pull up total casualties throughout the entire game?
Yes, this would be.
Idea.
Oh, actually, we're on already.
Here we are.
10 million.
I mean, look, it's just it blows my mind. Look how close it is. That's unbelievable. It's only 50,000 casualties in it. I can get it right.
Russia,
first time,
Prussia, Switzerland, all together, clustered right there at the top.
One thing that we should do, chat's asking for a timeline. So I'm going to suggest that we switch to single player so that we can show them a timeline.
Timeline on pause is no problem.
Oh, we can do on pause. You're right. Okay. Back on. I thought we had to.
Why don't you thank some wonderful people who've made this possible while we show the timeline?
Yes. We want to thank all of the teams. We had 20 teams, including our one dev team. So super huge thanks for them devoting their entire weekend to this. I know it's been a very long weekend for a lot of people. We want to thank everybody who watched, the casters, all the beautiful tech people. It's really nice to have them behind the scenes making all this work for us. Especially the team at TurboLARP, which did most of the organization for this entire thing, as well as our partners at Parsec, who made this possible. We wouldn't have been able to do it without the remote desktop app allowing us to actually control all of the PCs that are LAN together in Stockholm right now.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I love that we have 2 Byzantians on screen right now.
Multiple Byzantians.
What's it been? Actual live playtime, I think we've had close to 22 hours or so of total time. And I should again mention, I think in all likelihood, I mean, Ben, I'm assigning you work here, but I feel like sharing the save on Twitter is
we already plan on doing that. We actually have an announcement post for the Grandest LAN on the EU4 forum on Paradox Plaza right now. So if you go to there, we'll have a posting where you can get, I think we might have multiple save files from different time periods.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I'd love to see someone try and take over Ireland and then rule the world. That's what I want to see. I really want to, they had such an important impact. Ireland, we talked a lot about how important they were, but, Berlin fell because the Dutch weren't there. And the Dutch weren't there because of Ireland.
Actually, come think of it, Christo. Taking a nation on the brink of disaster and turning it around some kind of NSEG scenario sounds like something a certain YouTuber I know would be good at.
You can remember
if there's a winner. It's not really a winner. There are moral victors, I will say that. Milan did get the player vote as the rightful ruler of the world, and Russia did win a moral victory by finally sacking Berlin. So we have that.
And getting the popular vote in favor of their victory of the final war. A war, I may remind you, that chat voted 80-20 that Prussia would win, ending in a chat vote of 70-30 that Russia and the Swiss had in fact won it.
Yeah.
Anybody who bet against Prussia won big.
They certainly did. Let's take a look at a couple of the other map modes at the end state right now. The mighty English Channel, where they only ended up earning 855. Remember, that got to 1,400. Serious economic damage done there. On the religion side, Orthodoxy obviously reigning fairly supreme. But I didn't actually notice that. Nice. We have a Sikh.
Oh, Sikh Nepal.
And a Sikh Nepal, yes. Wow, you don't often see that. That's really cool. Moving over to development, obviously, look at that. Milan shines so bright. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. The HRE looks a little interesting in that it does not exist. Finally, we got rid of that at the end.
I think chat noticed that Jerusalem is Abadi, I think.
No way!
Yes. They went Abadi a while ago.
That's great. I missed that. We were so focused on that glorious.
They
Russian
finally
front.
managed to make the switch, but long after it mattered.
That is beautiful to see. And of course, they are the defender of their faith. Ever committed. Well, it's been fun. It's been glorious.
Thank you once more for joining us, everybody. And we'll be hopefully back next year for another Grandest LAN.
You can only help. Goodbye, chat. It's been a great pleasure. Enjoy.
See you later on.